I want this shit banging in my headphones. You understand me? Let me hear that beat. You dig? I'ma address some shit. Let y'all niggas know the real. I've been dormant for too long. Hibernate. Everybody want it, but do you wanna get it? I'm sick of all these niggas bullshitting. I'm sick of all these bitches. I'm sick of how these bitch niggas tripping. And how y'all get these passes to these snitches. Neighborhood crippin'. Dog pound gangsters in the building. I'ma treat these niggas like bitches. Throw them to the wolves and the vultures, the hyenas and my siblings.
Damu, Kiwe conversation. The only place you gonna get it is the only place you gonna get Big U.
Only place you gonna get Big U. Where's. Welcome to the Damu Kiwe conversation. Home of the West Coast. The voice of the coach. It's Duse M, the Damu. We right back at it like crack at it, man. Big U informant. CW1 exposed by Rap News Street Politics. Boy, them boys is good. Bro, you gotta believe me, Alex Alonzo, we was in there. Alex didn't get to, he be so busy, he didn't get to really dig deep into it. But the biggest clue was that CW1 was pardoned by Joe Biden in the Central District of California. That means federal court in Los Angeles. Bang that one on. We got the content. And we're going to get right into it as soon as we get enough people in here. So, confidential witness number one. B-Team. We got to take and hold this L on this one, B-Team. B-Team. Love from Hunters. Mike B. Hey, Mike B, listen, bro. I knew you was gonna know everybody they talking about. So at least the homies know, yeah, whack paperwork is sealed, bro. You know what I'm saying? I think Reggie Wright Jr.'s wife helped him get it sealed. That's how I believe he's able to carry a burner. That's how I believe he's able to work in the capacity as a deputized federal agent. Mike B say that's brazy. I know everybody they showed, man. You know, I was working on this, bro. I had their name, 3 homies. So this is where you got to be careful, Mike B. 3 homies from Hunters got pardoned by Joe Biden at the same time, right? Blood is one of them. T-Bone is one of them. So he's connected to this Big U case, right? Not necessarily connected. He's the one they're trying to use to put Big U in the Adrien Broner situation. So we're going to get into that. But does that mean that everybody they pardon or they slide some dudes out with a pardon so they could be out here working? June, salute. King Buckwild, salute, man. Bang that like button. That's Brady. CS2 been snitching right in y'all face for years. Ah, man, we already know he been snitching in our face. We've been exposing it for the last 3 years, bro. Now, he ain't in our face. He in my face. It's going to be at the minimum a fade. At the bare minimum. Blood got to run that. You know what I'm saying? Then I don't care what nobody else do with it. I'm just talking about my personal issue with blood. You know what I'm saying? But look, let it wait no more. We finna get straight to it. Rap News Street Politics, bro. We did the process of elimination. Listen what I'm telling you. Me and Alex Alonzo, he gives me the play, and I got so much else going on. But man, I spent like 2 nights trying to find out which names it was. So if they're not in this, don't have a case in the Central District of California, you scratch them off. You know what I'm saying? And I called the homie TD. I called Critter. I'm like, blood, do y'all know any homies Big U fuck with from Bounty Hunters? And I said the names, and they didn't know none of these names. So these dudes might not even, Tony Carr might not even know Big U, bro. This might be some more third-hand snitching shit, trying to connect him to the Luke Gage, Salute House Rule. Not surprised though. You know what I'm saying? House Rule. Yeah, Lil Stress should be held accountable too. Oh yeah, he in the same status as CS2 back. You know what I'm saying? He running from them issues that the homies been doing, but he had been running, man. You know what I'm saying? That his issues that he got now only made it worse for the niggas he was running from that had wanted to fade, wanted to DP him, wanted to put him off. And listen, when he faced that, he gonna face that. You know what I'm saying? Hey, listen, I'm gonna pray for the brother. You know let's get to it. Rap News Street Politics is beast mode. Let's go.
Hey, hot set sticky situations, told you ain't no rushing greatness. Bottom of the barrel, slept in houses that was vacant. Trying to dodge my demons so I cope with medications. Hey, nowadays they give a rat a bag, this shit outrageous. Fuck talking if it's that.
Gotta give a rat a bag, that's outrageous.
You don't think that the government had any reason
Wise,
to
California,
suspect that the Crips were dealing in firearms in Compton?
Rap News Street
Compton,
Politics, the best hood channel on YouTube. And we back in the hub of the dub, Compton and Watts, with that Double M Money Murder Gang, the Jack Boys, Eastside PJ Watts Crip. Now we know PJ Watts, the southeast of Watts, borderline to Willowbrook. These dudes are coming out the gutter, and not a lot of light gets shine back here. East of Wilmington, where it's going down at, with PJ Watts, Mona Park, Carver Park, Bounty Hunters, and the Grape Streets. But PJ Watts keeps their cripping extremely low-key. They following their own rules over here on the east side. But overall, this is a tight-knit community that has seen some violence decline between this year and last year. But you know we got to bring you all as close as possible to the streets. Speaking on PJ Watts, beefing with them neighborhood 9-0 Crips all the way in Westside South Central. We also got to speak on how PJ and the Bounty Hunters be on the 2-on-2, beefing with Carver Park and Mona Park across the 105. And we also got the feds and the snitches in Watts and Compton. And we're going to go ahead and speak on confidential witness number 1 in that Big U indictment coming out of Watts. And we're going to speak on how the feds set up Mona Park in the nastiest entrapment we probably ever going to see in the city, man. Now, the key thing is, before it calmed down, it was extremely hot between all these hoods over the last few years. And PJs, we know they main enemies being the Monas and the Grape Streets. They're 2 years removed from a situation where they was having some back and forth gunplay with the Grapes in 2023, when the Grapes accused the PJs of being in their hood out of bounds, and some things went left off 99.
You for PJs? Oh, you for PJs? All right, nigga. All right, nigga. Baby, look, nigga, please, nigga. No, like, get from right here, nigga. Get in the car. Get in the car. Hurry up. Hurry up. Hurry up. Hurry up. Drive up, cuz. You got my...
So I wanted a new credit card, not a hit to my credit. Good thing Experian has no daily decline. They matched me with
but that wasn't the only situation that really jumped it off between them and the Grapes in 2023. We seen over here April of that year, Myron Williams killed on 114th and Corrosis in the PJs, 24 years old, losing his life in the projects. We know these projects, even though things are on the decline, except for another part of the city, the projects are a spot that you can't get too comfortable in. At any point in time, either one of these projects can go up. Now we know we got the big three out here, Nickerson's, Jordan Downs, and Imperial Course. Hacienda Village is also here, but they're not on the capacity scale of these other three projects. We know the Jordan Downs, when they done building it up, it's going to have about 1,500 units in it. The Bounty Hunters got about 1,000 units in their projects. PJ Watts got about 500 units. While Hacienda Village has less than 200 units in their projects. So Myron Williams being killed in April 2023 seemingly was the precursor to everything that jumped off that year. I can't say if Myron was for sure from PJ Watts, but nonetheless, he did lose his life in the projects. But when Dollar Ray got killed 2023, 30-year-old Rayshawn Gordon, this seemingly was the straw that broke the camel's back over here in Watts. So July 16, 2023, Dollar Ray, along with 4 other people, were hit inside Imperial Courts in the parking lot. We know all of these projects, these dudes be in the parking lots on 99th in the Jordan Downs, 114th in the PJs, Zamora, 115th in the Bounty Hunters, 114th. All of these spots are known for big congregations. And that seemingly is what happened with Dollar Ray over here on July 16th. So 2 weeks after that, the Grapes alleged the PJs was out of bounds in the Jordan Downs. And I can't say exactly what they were doing, but 19-year-old Kimonte Johnson did lose his life being shot with 3 other people, 2 females and another dude. Now, the news reports say that it was a sporting event they were attending. This is July, the middle of the summer. I can't say exactly what these dudes was doing, but the Grape Street say that these dudes was creeping around looking to get cracking. And a situation ensued where 19-year-old Kimonte lost his life. Now, we seen the Grapes taunting the candle lights, dissing Kimonte, dissing the PJs, and we know this set a situation off where people felt like they couldn't hold a candlelight in the Jordan Downs, that this is somebody from the PJs, and there was a lot of tension going on over here in Wise.
Dang, this your Brody.
Defense won every time.
Hey, first bitch, one miss. Let me spark the weed. Hold on.
Hit that. Let me see me anyway.
Let me spark the weed.
I was over here at that time, a little bit after Kimonte was killed. There was a candlelight that wasn't kicked over on 99th and Juniper, but the situation wasn't over with. And the following month, August 28th, on Willowbrook and 110th, we know Grape got a pocket right there between 110th and 112th, where Karan Williams ended up losing his life over here just a month after Dollar Ray and Kimonte. So Watson seemingly de-escalated from that point. In 2023, over the years, things have calmed down between PJ and Grape Street, it seemed like. But we know with the projects, it's more beef to go around, and we know the feds are here as well. But there is a lot of notable figures that's coming out the Imperial Courts, man. A lot of people that may get overlooked, and some people that do got some big names out here. Number 1, Pay Gotti. That's somebody that's really stamping his name in the industry right now. Records with EBK J-Bo. We just seen him with D3 and Rucci, bringing that Blood, Crip, and Paru connection out in the projects. We seen him with Kai Stanat on the stream. He doing this thing, coming out the PJs. We know Bobby Yeye coming out the PJs. Executive produced that Imperial Dreams movie on Netflix. You know, somebody who's been a face over here, Lil Draws. We seen him years back on Street TV. We've also seen Jack Boy Bino come out the projects, and he had a buzz. Now, I believe he's sitting down, but that was somebody that was also coming out the projects and had some views with the music.
Don't act like you don't know the program, bro. Make a nigga drop no flow dance. Oh damn, you cute, but I want your friend. No friends, niggas be snakes, but I don't know them.
Faux Baby, Boy Bands. It's a lot coming out the projects, as y'all know. All these sections be having talent and individuals coming out of them, but that's just a few people to watch out for coming out the PJs. Now, like I said, the main beefs with PJ, Grape Street, Mona, they also beefing with Carver. They beefing with 10 Line, across 112, Nut Hood, Watts. But they influence is seemingly stretching past the hub and the dub and going to the west side of South Central, where I've seen these dudes recently having a back and forth with them west side 90s. Now, we know the 9-0s stay in some beef. I heard Fat Jack dissing these dudes on that is regular record. I think these two hoods have been going back and forth really with the music over the last couple years. I don't know if it's fully broken out into the full-fledged murder beef, but I felt like it was low-key strange to see them and the 9-0s going at it based on how far away these dudes are. Both of them hoods are extremely active, and neither one of them hoods have a problem with beefing with anybody. Hopefully that situation stays with the music. I have seen the PJs going over to the 9-0s in their store doing some dissing. Regular shit, you know, but that's not a situation I can truly see going up based on how far
playing with your life like that is just regular shit. This is regular part of game,
my boy. You know? Where the nachos at? You hear me though? Front line though. Top of them though.
But a situation people really don't be talking about that much is Mona Park Compton Crib and PJ Watts. Now, to break the trajectory down to where PJ Watts is in correlation with Mona. Both of their hoods is in between Willowbrook Avenue and Mona Boulevard. Now, PJ Watts is bigger than Mona. Mona is a smaller hood, but both of these sections have big, deadly, dangerous reputations over here in Compton and Watts. Now, PJ Watts, like I said, is going from 112th to Imperial between Wilmington and Watts Avenue.
Make y'all hit
they
that.
got four sides to their hood over here. They got the Bull side, 115th to Corrosive, stretching up to 114th, the biggest side of their hood, 2250. The middle of their hood. Every time you see anything PJ Watts, for the most part, you looking at 2250. They got the Island side, north of 115th Street, between 113 and 114. They got the Peel over there across from the Pink Store Market between 113th and 115th. And they got the Funny side between Imperial and 115th. But not only do they got project banging, they also got block banging, like all of the projects in Watts, man. They own 112th, block banging. And when you come east of Wilmington, down to 113th, 114th, and 115th, those are also blocks. And this is what I mean by sometimes a lot of light doesn't get shed on PJ Watts. If you don't know this area, you're not familiar with it. When you go down Wilmington, it doesn't look like projects is over here. They're not as clear cut from the streets like the Bounty Hunters or the Grave Streets. You can see them from the 105, but if you're coming on the streets, you can really end up in a bad position, turning down one of these blocks and end up in the middle of the projects, man. But overall, they do have some terrain over here. Now, Mona Park is just down Willowbrook from these dudes. So Willowbrook turns into Wilmington around 115th, but Mona Park is existing on both sides of Willowbrook between 118th and El Segundo, stretching between Wilmington and Mona Boulevard, and really Alameda once you get past 124th. But over here, they tighten it with the Carver Parks, and they cool with CV124. Big Pocket Hood, 7th Street, which is the hood right in between them and the PJs. 7th Street is not a large hood. Y'all may be familiar with it with Glasses Malone, but that is the section that separates PJ Watts and Mona Park. But the hot blocks over here, 121st, 122nd. And what we seen over here in the Monas, man, the feds played a dirty game on Mona Park Compton Crit. We're going to detail it shortly in this video. But the ATF, the FBI, and the dirty confidential informant set the Monas all the way up over here on the east side of Compton.
Entrepreneurs, don't get it understood, dog. Don't just hear that gangster shit. We get the bread too, nigga.
But like I said, the feds enjoy this area, man.
Yeah,
what we see with PJ Watts, if y'all seen that Street TV interview, the last interview Street TV did with PJ Watts, it was a dude named Goldie on that interview. Goldie just went down on the federal indictment that dropped March of this year, where he was shipping meth in Cheeto bags to Indiana out of the Torrance UPS. Now, him and a female named Natasha Gorner, who I believe has ties to Six Pack East Coast, and the Coast is one of the few hoods that the PJs are cool with. Goldie and Natasha were sending packs to Indiana, man. So May 5th of this year, UPS calls the feds saying that a package came, it was messed up, and they opened it up per protocol and found 5 Cheeto bags that didn't fit the normal look of a regular Cheeto bag. That's when they opened the Cheeto bag up and found 20 pounds of meth in the Cheetos and slid it right to the feds. So this is some game I'm about to give you. So this situation had happened to some of my people where the feds intercept the package and dress up as the mailman. They'll dress up as USPS, UPS, FedEx, whoever it is, the feds will put that uniform on after they intercept the package. And that's exactly what they did when Natasha and Goldie pulled up to pick the package up.
Sometimes life can be a little messy, but with next new Bella Performance Fabric.
Now, right before that, another package of Cheetos that came in, totaling 40 pounds of meth wrapped in green plastic bags in these Cheeto bags. The feds grabbed them and beeline that morning to the location in Indiana where Goldie and Natasha pulled up in the minivan, jumped out, and picked the shit up. Now, the feds do this because they want to catch you in the act. This is well beyond a reasonable doubt. They don't want to do no guessing. They don't want to have to rely on cameras. They will set you up like this. So after Goldie and Natasha picked the bags up, the feds got on their ass. Goldie go on a high-speed chase and ends up crashing the whip, going down on this federal case in March. Now, the crazy thing is he already took a plea deal for 40 pounds of meth. He done got hit with 17 years. It took him less than a year to cop out. Now, Natasha, she got these ties to the coast, I believe, on 62nd. And I don't know what she doing. I can't put no jacket on her. I'm not going to do that. But some shit looked kind of strange. So Goldie's case was seemingly moving. Her shit just stalled out. My thing is, what made him take a plea deal for 17 this fast, other than being caught red-handed and shit, you know, and him going down previously for other shit on the state case? We know how the feds and the guidelines work. It's a point system based on your criminal history and the charges that are alleged in the federal indictment. But I believe Natasha is still out here moving around. And that's up to y'all to figure out what's really going on with that situation. But that's the feds and PJ Watts this year. The PJs are cool with East Coast. Not too many allies are had with PJ Watts, but another hood is Bounty Hunter Watts. Now, you can say these two hoods are loosely allied. I wouldn't go as far to say the PJs and Knicks are clicked up. They're cordial, and they share a lot of beef together. Even with Athens Miller, Carver, Mona, Great. But I have seen them kind of go back and forth, little scrimmages with females, shit like that. But we did have some implications when the feds hit the bounty hunters in Operation Loyalty Matters in correlation with Big U's federal indictment. Now, when we dropped that Big U federal indictment, we spoke.
So let me go ahead and stop sharing this real quick and show y'all the federal indictment that he talking about, right? Central District, federal indictments target street gang for alleged crack cocaine distribution and firearm offenses at housing projects in Watts. Now, mind you, this was 2021, Wednesday. Los Angeles. Law enforcement this morning arrested 19 defendants, most of whom are members and associates of the Bounty Hunter Bloods. Barter, nigga. The street gang named in a series of federal grand jury indictments charged them with manufacturing and distributing crack cocaine in and around their territory of the Nickerson Garden Public Housing Project in Watts neighborhood of the city of Los Angeles. The 19 people arrested this morning are among 22 defendants charged in 9 indictments unsealed today that allege violation of federal narcotics and firearm laws. The defendants arrested today are expected to be arraigned on the indictments this afternoon in the U.S. District Court in downtown L.A. In addition to those arrested during Operation Loyalty Matters, one defendant is already in custody on unrelated charges. Authorities are continuing to search for 2 defendants. During the investigation, law enforcement seized 26 firearms, including 5 ghost guns or firearms lacking serial numbers, 1 kilogram of crack cocaine, and 12 pounds of methamphetamines. The Fed's main indictment centers on the alleged drug manufacturing and distribution activities of Damian Baker, 43, a.k.a. Fats. Now, I think Damian Baker, I'm not home, but I got the list of the people whom Biden pardoned. I think Damian Baker was one of them, bro. But anyway, 43, a.k.a. Fats, and Tony Carr, 49, a.k.a. T-Bone. So y'all know he's older now. I think he's like 55 years old. 40, Tony Carr, a.k.a. T-Bone, both of whom are documented Watts-based Bounty Hunter Blood gang members. The 15-count indictment also charges Baker's alleged network of narcotic suppliers, manufacturers, and distributors. From August 2019 to May 2020, Baker obtained powder cocaine from suppliers and, along with Carr, manufactured or cooked crack cocaine in Nickerson Gardens, then prepared and packaged crack cocaine for other distributors and customers in the housing complex, according to the indictment. The conspirators allegedly collected proceeds from the crack cocaine sales after distributing the drugs to customers via hand-to-hand transaction. Because of the highly dangerous and lucrative nature of crack cocaine trafficking, Individuals who worked together in the distribution of crack cocaine often had established relationships through their memberships or associations with the Bounty Hunter Bloods, the indictment alleges. Baker, Carr, and the indictment's 10 other defendants are charged with 1 count of conspiracy to manufacture, distribute, and possess with intent to distribute crack cocaine. Baker faces 8 additional felony charges in the indictment, while Carr is charged with 6 additional felonies, including narcotics distribution and firearms-related offenses. And he's going to get into the description. The indictment gave us a description of who CW1 was, and one of them was about, I think it's called 246, 243, discharging a firearm in a residential house or dwelling, some shit like that, right? And that was one of the things. They gave us another clue that CW1 was pardoned by Joe Biden. Well, there's a list of those pardoned by Joe Biden, and we had the list already seeking. And I seen 3 niggas from Bounty Hunters. I'm like, bro, what's up with this? How is 3 homies? And when Big U family is telling me that they don't notice none of them names that I said, I kind of thought I just felt befuddled. I said, man, I got to get a background on all of these niggas that's left on the list. I was down to 5, and those 3 were all part of the 5. The remaining 8 indictments charge an additional 10 defendants with violating federal narcotics and firearm laws. An indictment contains allegations that a defendant has committed a crime. Every defendant is presumed innocent until and unless proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. 14 defendants, including all 12 defendants charged in the lead indictment, face potential sentences of life imprisonment if they are convicted of conspiracy to distribute more than 280 grams. 280 grams is 10 zones of crack. So if you get caught with 9 zips, or a quarter bird, a quarter yick, and some rock cocaine, just know you thinking you local, you got it bracket, and you boo, that federal sentencing, United States sentencing guideline, knock your dick in the dirt. And they potentially face mandatory minimum sentences of 10 years in federal prison for that offense. Mandatory 10 years minimum. Unless, you cooperate, get a safety valve like Blue the Snitchy. 4 additional defendants face mandatory minimum sentences of 5 years in federal prison if convicted of charges of conspiracy to distribute 28 grams. So if you get caught with a zip or more of crack cocaine, you got a 5-year mandatory minimum, and possession of a firearm in furtherance of a drug trafficking, that's the 922G, right? That's saying you're protecting the dope with the pistol. So now that's an automatic mandatory minimum of 5 years. Today's arrests were made by the FBI's Los Angeles Metropolitan Task Force on Violent Gangs. It's always this federal joint task force, which consists of FBI, LAPD, LA County Sheriffs, and CDCR. So they working from the jail. This dude was supposed to been in jail when this shit happened with Adrien Broner. So how is he getting this information that he's supplying them against Big U? Time and tell. We definitely gonna be looking deeper into that. Let's get back to the video, though. I just wanted to make sure that y'all was all aware of which indictment they was talking about and how they got to the point of knowing that this dude Carr, was I wonder if he's connected to CS2 back. Let's go.
Spoke about a confidential witness, the one that was snitching to the feds about Big U shaking down athletes, shaking down Adrien Broner. the NBA players, the NFL players. There was a confidential witness in that case who was the initial confidential witness, and the feds had put out in the paperwork somewhat of a description of this individual. Now, I know a lot of people was talking. You know, we had another individual that we broke was a snitch, and Dale Morrison, certified rat, and some people tapped in, reached out to us about this situation with this individual and bought some things to light. Now, all we gonna do is line up the information for y'all, and y'all do what y'all do with it. But CW1 used paperwork hadn't been released up until this point. So in 2019 to 2020, the feds was in the bounty hunters, watching them move rocked up powder throughout the Nickerson Gardens and other areas of Washington Compton. The two main players in that was Damian Fats Baker and Tony T-Bone Carr. Now, overall, 22 people went down, but it said that Fats and T-Bone was the main ones rocking up powder and distributing the powder through other crackheads in the neighborhood. Now, Fats had made this shit a family affair. He had his stepson and his baby mama in on the operation, everybody from bounty hunters doing they shit. And like every other case, they were serving the confidential informants over here in the Knicks. Now, the feds had Fats and T-Bone phones wired, listening into their conversation. They had T-Bone speaking about spraying guns throughout the Knicks, and the Nickersons were extremely hot at this time with the gunplay, but we're going to get into that as well. But them people end up raiding one of the crackheads' house. Everything goes down. Shit goes left. These dudes all hit the feds. Now, T-Bone was about 50 at this time when shit hit the fan in 2020, and he was originally sentenced to 188 months in the feds, with this being his 7th felony drug trafficking conviction in his 50s. They hit him over the head, but one would say 188 months when you facing a life sentence for your 7th drug conviction is a sweet ass deal. And this is what takes us to that big U indictment. Now, we know a lot of people spoke about the people snitching on there. I heard somebody talking about the 50 gang members just telling like that. Motherfucker just be saying anything. 50 people ain't finna take the stand. It may only be like 3 or 4. But the description that the feds gave of this individual was, number one, about his criminal history. 2003, 2009, violations for the drugs, safety code 113.5. Now, we know that's usually that crack, that health and safety code. Niggas is serving off that. So when we look into Tony Carr, T-Bone, we look into his criminal history in LA County, 2009, what does he have? That health and safety code violation, 113.5. Now again, in 2003, he not only had another health and safety code, but he also had shooting into an inhabited dwelling. But follow the words, in violation of Penal Code 246. 2003, we see this dude with a 242-243. So mind you, the feds in the Big U paperwork didn't say he was convicted of a 246. They said he was in violation of a 246. When they brought the charges on him in 2003, they only had enough seemingly to bring the 242 to 243. So in basic,
let's get to it.
terms, November 2003, he goes down. He initially violated the 246, shooting in an inhabited dwelling. Somehow, some way, he got his shit all the way dropped down to a battery. Like I said, the Fed paperwork said it was a violation, but when we look into the actual case, the charges got dropped to a lesser crime in that situation in 2003. And that's also in his sentencing memorandum on this Fed case that he caught in the Nickerson Gardens. So like I said, some people tapped in trying to line this shit up with T-Bone being CW1. Next, we got the cooperation credit during his sentencing when he was in violation of the Title 21 U.S. Code 846, which is the federal indictment and the same violation that he went down for in his most recent drug case out the Nickerson Gardens, violation 846, which again, based on his points and his past record, he was facing a life sentence for. So the feds say he received cooperation credit and got some leniency at his sentencing. And in total, he was facing 7 charges, a part of this indictment. Again, supposed to have an L for this shit with his track history. A part of his plea agreement, they dropped counts 2, 3, 4, 6, and 7, which, mind you, they had him dead to rights on, with him serving to a confidential informant and having him on the wiretap, which is where they negated the life sentence for this dude only charged him with counts 1 and 14, giving him 188 months, which is 15 years and 8 months, seemingly for his cooperation. Now, what we see a lot of times, most people think if you cooperate, you're not finna go to jail at all. Mind you, when you look in the Big U paperwork, all he did was talk about the Adrien Broner situation and niggas shaking down NBA players in the extortion. He ain't give up no bodies, no murders. He ain't take the stand on nobody. So that's not finna get him all the way clear cut off of a life eligible offense. But it got him all the way down to 15 years when he was facing the L again for 7 felony drug conviction. But the main thing on how we reached this same person being CW1 is the last description that the feds gave of this
Joe Biden.
This person got pardoned by Joe Biden on his sentence. Everything was commuted and he came home. Now, there's a list of everybody that's gotten pardoned out of the Central District of California for 846 offenses. This shit is basic math. We go through the list, and who do we find that matches the description? Tony T-Bone Carr out of Bounty Hunter Watts, pardoned by Joe Biden, originally sentenced to 15 years and 8 months, level 32, category 5 points. And with the enhancements, it was taking him to a life offense. But he wasn't the only one to get pardoned by Joe Biden in this indictment. Donald Langram, Fats, a bunch of other people got pardoned as well, but they didn't have the same criminal background and history that lined up with CW1 in Big U's case. So y'all do with that what y'all want. But this is what I mean by the feds like this area over here in Watts, man. Them people over here.
Down there. Hey, right down there.
We don't call it Carver Park. We call it Starver Mall. Don't never be at that park. Niggas go pull up right there and smoke a blunt right now.
Look, you see the, get the sign.
You see it, man?
Zoom in on that.
Zoom in. Who gonna say that stay hood, but let us hear up on it? Bonnie Anna's right there, my nigga. We got the DKs.
What DAs? Niggas, stop playing.
Now, like I said, at the same time, this area was extremely active between bounty hunters, PJ Watts, Carver Park, and Mona Park. In January 2021, on 123rd and Compton in the Carvers, LaRon Folings is killed. April 3rd, 2021, 121st and Central, the Carvers. Carl Hampton is killed. And over the next 2 months, there are 6 homicides inside the Nickerson Gardens. And most of them in the same spots. Multiple on 114th and multiple on 115th. Zamora, Success, it went up in the projects. Now at this same time, it seemed like the Carvers and the Bounty Hunters going at it. The PJs and the Monas going at it. It seemed like a 2-on-2 across the 105 freeway. So prior to these situations, we go to May 2nd, 2020, with Gregory Taco Black, Horace PJ Wayne Shakelin, Katrina Hurricane Briggs, and Kenneth Headbuster Braggs coming out of PJ Watts. So the morning of May 2nd, 2020, it was alleged that Taco and PJ Wayne them bent on 119th and Willowbrook, where they found Jason McKinley at his mama house in the Mona Parks and got cracking, jumped out on this dude out of a burgundy Buick and killed him right there that morning, May 2nd. By August 13th, Taco and his crimees go down and everything was looking all bad. So the lead detective on the case ends up putting a recording device, unlawful recording device, in the hallway between Taco, PJ Wayne, and Headbuster cells. Now this recording device, he didn't get it signed off by the judge. And the way it was placed, it could have unlawfully recorded conversations between a defendant and his lawyer, which is breaking the confidentiality law. The police cannot be involved in any communication that anybody has with a lawyer as a defendant. And again, the judge didn't say this dude could record these guys anyways, but he was trying to jump ahead, put the microphone on these dudes in hopes that they talked about the homicide over here in the Mona Parks. And this bit him in the ass when it came time for Taco, at least, to work a deal out with the prosecutors. Now, the prosecutors allege that this situation with the recording device didn't influence them on offering a deal to him, which was 5 years probation, no jail time, sat in jail for a year on a body, got out on probation. They said all they had on him was that he was a lookout for a previous attempted murder in the Jordan Downs where the PJs was trying to get up on the grapes, shot at somebody in the grapes in the same burgundy Buick. They alleged Taco was in the back seat, and that's all the evidence they had on him, dropping a premeditated murder charge with gang allegations and giving this dude 5 years of probation, and he walked free off a year. Now, the crazy thing is, PJ Wayne's lawyer had made a statement and said basically that they was confused about that. They rarely see somebody dodge a premeditated murder charge and get probation off a plea deal. He didn't take it to trial. He didn't beat it. He pled out and got out in a year. So they kind of insinuated that some shit may be on Taco Jack.
These are dudes
I don't
out
have
there
no
in them
paperwork for
streets.
Taco. I don't know, but it put PJ Wayne them in a certain position because now that Taco's out the way, they looking at PJ Wayne. Now he was involved in some shit where he had shot at his girlfriend off 112 and pointed a gun at her 10-year-old daughter. She called the people on this nigga, and the police hit PJ Wayne with the shells from when you shot at your baby mama crib on 112, matched the shells in the Mona Parks.
We see you out there making holiday magic. From unique traditions to cozy celebrations, Lane's has what you need for the season.
Stay out them streets
with the murderer Jason McKinney.
These dudes
so
is
PJ
not
Wayne
real
hop on the
gangsters.
horn,
They might put
holler
in
at his
work.
girl.
They might be
She
violent.
changed her stories to the detectives. Her ass go down for accessory for murder. The detectives then try to pull her daughters in, the ones that was there when PJ Wayne allegedly shot up the crib and pulled the gun out on one of them. And the folks alleged that her lawyer hatched up a plan to make sure the kids don't testify, take a stand against PJ Wayne or their mama. The people end up arresting the lawyer and arrested some of PJ Wayne's girlfriend family for plotting to dissuade a witness. And the whole shit was a mess, man. A lot of people went down, but PJ Wayne, along with Taco, seemingly dodged the bullet with this case, while Katrina Briggs Bradley ended up getting sentenced to 12 years in the state, while Headbuster received a 21-year sentence jumping out that burgundy Buick. But Taco found himself in some more shit 2 years ago when he crashed his Benz on Century in Vermont, killing 2 people that he hit in a Honda. So he eventually went down for vehicular manslaughter after beating the murder in the Mona Parks. But around this whole time span between 2020 and 2023, between Mona, Carver, PJ Watts, the Bounty Hunters, and the Grapes, there was 40 murders between them hoods alone in they sections. And that's not counting any Southsiders who ain't your hood murders. But the Monas also found themselves in the middle of some shit later that year in 2020, where people allege where they seen 80 shells drop on 121st in broad daylight, October 22nd. Killing Edward Lynn Gray, where 5 dudes jumped out and again dropped 80 points, broad daylight, residential street, Mona Park. Now, just to paint the scene, these ain't apartments in Mona Park. They only got a couple apartment buildings, like the corner of Willowbrook and 122nd. Most of these spots over here are gonna be houses. Just imagine these dudes jump out broad daylight on these small ass streets and drop 80 rounds, which the people allege was a retaliatory shooting for some shit that happened the night before in the Pyrus on 135th and Avalon, where a dude named Richard Kennedy ended up losing his life, seemingly up at that Goldenberg Chicken over here on the west side of Compton. Now we know One Trade 5 is right there, West Side Pyru, and Athens Park is right there. So the people allege that Mona Park slid over to Avalon and 135th, and them niggas slid right back on the Monas the next day. And then they say the Monas slid back a month later in the same spot on 135th and Avalon. Deontay Johnson is killed. And then 2 weeks later, it's up in the Monas again on 123rd and Wilmington. Daryl Moore is killed.
Oh, okay.
That's the borderline of Carvers and Monas. So when we talk about this decline in the city, which is good, these are the situations that exhausted the shit. But like I said previously, Mona Park got the bad end of the stick when the ATF slid to their hood in 2015.
I never understand this pain. I'm still having long talk to Fred till this day. I swear you left me all alone, this shit don't feel the same. Say homies ain't homies, these niggas steady switching lanes. While politicking with a red, that shit ain't never gained.
Now, crazy enough, there was an individual over here, and I'm sure people from Mona is listening to this, and shout out my people from Carver Park, shout out my people from Mona Park. Y'all know who you is, but y'all remember a dude over there named Duke, Hispanic man living on the west side of Willowbrook Avenue, 122nd and Willowbrook, at one of them apartments over there on the corner. Duke was a confidential informant since 2004. He was working with the LAPD, got his life threatened, I believe by a Sudaño hood, moved his and his family outside of LA. Fast forward to 2015, his family's tired of hiding, tired of not being in the mix. They want to come back to California. He said he looked on Craigslist. The Mona Parks was the only place he can move into, set up shop right there on 122nd and Willowbrook. And this is where he alleged Francisco Hill, aka Freebo, approached him on 122nd when he moved in, banged on him, got acquainted with him, told him 122nd was $1 million dope block. The confidential informant also smoked rock and meth. But this is the point where he befriends people from Mona. He had previously worked for the FBI, the ATF, and the LAPD at this point, and played a dirty game on 6 people from Mona Park. Dudes like Freebo, Bucky, Smoke, Slim, Milkman. Duke moves in and decides to introduce himself to these dudes from Mona and befriends these dudes. Mind you, he's watching these dudes beef it. He's saying there's a lot going on in this neighborhood. We know Mona was beefing with Pocket Hood heavy at this time, beefing with PJ Watts. They had a lot of shit going on. Duke sees this, goes straight to the ATF and tells them, yo, it's a lot of shit going on in this neighborhood I'm living in. I think y'all should take a look at it. The ATF said, sure, why not? They began to lace this dude with Newport cigarettes, Jordans, and jerseys. He goes back to the Mona Parks, passing this shit out to this community that he's befriended. Mind you, the ATF have also began to play a race game over here. Because again, the 124s and the Monas are cool. The black and browns are cool. So now you've implemented a Hispanic man intermingling with a black gang to take these dudes out. This is why people do not trust the police. This is why these communities will never be on the same page. Look at the type of shit they was doing. And then you lace this nigga with Jordans and jerseys and shit and cigarettes. So he start passing these things out to these people and just so happens to bring up, hey, I got a connect that's actually a part of the Armenian mafia who's looking to buy guns. Now, the whole thing about this case was entrapment. None of these individuals that they targeted that ended up going down in this indictment were known to be arms dealers. None of these dudes was known to be dealing guns on the street. They forced these dudes and lured them in by saying that they would pay double or triple the price if they can somehow get them guns and get them in the hands of this snitch dude, and he can supply his Armenian plug with these guns. So these dudes from Mona went out to seek guns from spots like Arizona and Nevada under the guise that they was going to be paid triple what the normal street value would be for these guns. But the thing is, they didn't just take one round of guns and nab these guys. They didn't just go down, or he sold me a gun, arrest them. They waited 16 months and let the Mona supply them with 57 guns to rack up the charges on these dudes. Played a dirty game over here on the east side of Compton and was using Duke to blow the whole Mona Park hood up. It was even a point in time where somebody from Mona was on the run. They called Duke like, hey, go to their hood and figure out where he is. Some dirty games. And what we see in the paperwork, they protected this dude. Usually what we see in every case, when they go to trial, your name is on there. Whoop-de-whoop took the stand. They got no problem putting regular citizens or members' names in the paperwork. But when it came to Duke, they hid his name with all their power. I still don't even know his name. So when everything blew up, the ATF and the FBI tried to stand on the fact
this
that
is how they
didn't
coming. Y'all
tell
be
Duke
careful
to move over there in the Monas because he
can
wasn't
stay
working
out
as
of
a
'em,
CI
stay
at the
out of 'em.
time. But as soon as he got there, he jumped on the payroll. And from July 2015 to July 2016, they had gave this dude about 25 racks for every dealing that he had with these dudes from Mona. Now, of course, the feds gonna sit there and tell a lie and not gonna say that they told this dude to go to this specific spot. He eventually took the stand and told the judge and the defense team that this was the only spot that he could get when him and his people moved back to LA. And overall, he ended up taking advantage of the poverty and the greed of these dudes in this neighborhood and the fact that they had a lot of murder beef going on. So when Freebo went down in the room with the detectives, they was talking about how PJ Watts was sliding into the Monas, getting cracking. The feds were paying attention to all of this, and they took advantage of that situation without any of these dudes having priors or having any real crimes that they committed before they put a confidential informant on 122nd and Willowbrook. Now, some of these dudes are still out, but dudes like Freebo, he's still sitting in the feds behind this indictment. But that's what went down when a random confidential informant moved into somebody's hood. This is game. Y'all gotta listen. If y'all out here in these streets playing these games, you can't just be befriending anybody. They might be the feds.
People always
but
say
like I
Carver
said, this was
Park
around
is
the
Willie
time
Watts.
that Mona and PJ Watts.
I ain't gonna argue with them about their hood.
It was an extremely active war between Pocket Hood, who's just south of El Segundo from Carver Park. Pocket Hood is going from El Segundo to Stockwell between Wilmington and Willowbrook. Anzac Grape is also right here. They do function with Pocket Hood, but the main spot, Arambi and 130th in Pocket Hood. Another small hood in Compton, but these small hoods in Compton be having them niggas in it, man. They be having them riders coming out of these hoods, and no different is Pocket Hood. Now, Pocket Hood is aligned with Santana Block, and we had a piece video in Compton that we spoke about. We spoke about the alliances of a lot of these Compton hoods on the west side and the east side. Y'all go check that out. But it's a lot of alliances and beef at the same time between these hoods. So sometimes it's not really about the size of the hood, because they could be tied in to a bigger hood out here in Compton. But like I said, regardless of that, it's a bunch of riders from all these hoods. So it was a situation in 2014 that really turned the shit up. Right before the feds came over there on 122nd and Willowbrook, some people from Pocket Hood was having a birthday party in Carson. Now, a dude named Richard Lawrence, he was locked up at the time. His baby mama was throwing a party for their son, and Pocket Hood was in attendance. Some shit goes left, and it said that Front Hood, who was beefing with Pocket Hood at the time, had pulled up there with some people from PJ Watts, and that put the pause on them niggas from Pocket Hood, and, you know, fucked up the little kid birthday party, which is bad news. So when Richard Lawrence baby mama called him back, she tell him what happened. He like, well, who was up there? And she said, some bitches from the projects was up there with the niggas from Front Hood. And this is when Pocket Hood pressed play. So that was October 18th, 2014. A week later, Christopher Stone, aka Lil Shaq from Pocket, and Dan Young, aka Dice, is sliding through the projects October 26th, 8:30 at night. Like I told y'all, these projects are main spots where people congregate. These parking lots, it be hella people outside sometimes. And this is where Letitia Salazar, Tyrone Jones, and a few other people was hanging out in the PJs. It said that these dudes from Pocket Hood jumped out on them, asked them where they was from. They didn't say nothing. They ended up getting off on them, shooting Salazar in the hand and the ankle, and hitting Tyrone Jones in the face and the hand, with 5 shells recovered at the scene. Now, an hour later, these dudes spent the block back. That shit happened at 8:30, 9:20. Pocket Hood was back in the PJs, looking to get cracking. All because Stone got his face busted at a child's birthday party. It went all the way up. But as usual, it's another congregation in the PJs, and some more people was hanging out in the group when these niggas slid up. They said they peeped Samike Grigley hanging out with a few females. Everybody probably smoking and drinking. Again, an hour after somebody else then got shot in the same area. They noticed an Audi Q7 drive by. Now the thing is, Samike Grigley, aka Sway, was from neighborhood East Coast. Like I said, East Coast is cool with PJ Watts. She's over here hanging out with her people. Now, a female named Ashley Bowman said that she recognized Dan Young in the Q7 and he smirked at her, and she seemingly had got spooked and said they should go wait inside her crib while they waited for her brother to come out. They was probably finna spin out somewhere. So they got out the car, finna go in the house. Stone walked up and shot Grigley in the back of the head in the PJs, and also hit Ashley Bowman in the shoulder, but she survived, and Sway lost her life over here in the projects, double shooting an hour apart. Pocket Hood, and 6 more 9mm casings was recovered. And of course, they pieced it together that was fired from the same gun. Now, fast forward to a year later, both of them dudes is still out on the street, 1:30 in the morning on 124th and Wilmington at that Compton Mini Martin Tobacco. A dude named Deshaun Childs is at the liquor store when he runs into Dan Young, man. And Young is tripping. He say he from Pocket Hood, and he tripping on anything Mona, anything Carver. Now, over here on 124th and Wilmington, there's by 6 Hood, Mona Park, and Carver Park. And it's by Pocket Hood and Front Hood. It's a lot going on right here. But nonetheless, Young ended up dissing Mona, dissing Carver, and Deshaun Childs is like, wait, I'm from 7th Street. So he from 7th Street, wise. At that time, even this time, I don't think they ever been in beef with Pocket Hood. And the crazy thing is, 1:30 in the morning, Young had a child with him, like an elementary school kid with him, while he banging on people over here on 124th and Wilmington. Like I said, he was out here tripping. But nonetheless, Deshaun Childs peels up out the store, goes to the corner. Young follows this dude. Childs turns around, sees Young on his heels. Young shoots this man in his forehead, killing him over here in the middle of the night in Compton, man. And this is what I'm talking about, with Pocket Hood going up at the same time the feds is out here beefing it with Mona Park, Carver, and PJ Wise. But overall, like I said, man, things have been on the decline. We got to stress that. We know it's been a lot of beef over the years between a lot of these hoods, and some of these hoods don't get talked about. These are historical sections in the city. Carver Park, Mona Park, the projects, these are hood monuments, man. And, you know, it's always good to see motherfuckers being able to chill and continue thriving in these neighborhoods. But, you know, we got to say rest in peace to everybody that's lost their life in these wars, man. This area between Compton, Willowbrook, Watts, this shit is unforgiving over here, man. This is the gutter. And like I said, you can never be too comfortable in this situation. But this is the best hood channel on YouTube. Y'all make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe. Stay rocking with the channel. We're going to keep supplying y'all with this.
They had like 4 niggas. They must have all been riders.
Refresh
Listen,
your
bro,
space with a mid-century make.
You got to understand that too, bro. He just mentioned that too. Them small hoods have to go twice as harder, bro. They be having joints, bro. So just because the hood's short, don't count them out, because you can have 1,000 busters and that ain't putting in work and don't feel that and get trained to where they have to. That 4 or 5 niggas you talking about, them niggas might felt obligated to put their hood all the way on the map and go even harder. You see, they a recognized set. I don't think they got there being that short unless them niggas is vicious, bro. I come from a hood. We wasn't that small as them, but we was small, nigga, and we had to go hard, bro. You know what I'm saying? You had to have joints. We just didn't accept anybody either. What it is now, that shit is watered down. But look, let's see what the good people talking about, man. Got bad over there for a minute. Yeah, it was bad over there, man. Then they got the feds over there. Imagine that. We finna get back to the Big U thing, but look, imagine that. Imagine that it's Big Smoke. It's a full-fledged gang war. Pookaroo, salute. It's Big U might have known him, but he didn't know him. Duse, I grew up around the corner from them. It wasn't like that. Well, you might got better insight. You definitely got better insight than me. I ain't for what. So, you know, that was your experience. You know what I'm saying? But okay, let's go to this real quick. You know what I mean? Let's go to this real quick. So I found some other paperwork when the dude played out. The dude, Tony Carr, right? And then his state case, the shooting case, is sealed. I guess he busted his baby mama or something, right? So let's get to this first, right? We're going to go ahead and get to this first. And then we're going to cut this one short. I'm not at home and we got somewhere else to be. You know what I'm saying? I think this one is it. Yeah. South LA based gang member pleads guilty, leading to crack cocaine. So Damon Baker Fats of Compton pled guilty. So he pled guilty first, right? But then when you get into it, and I'll read this later because we still gonna continue more to research more what we can learn about Baker's guy who was also helping him cook up the work, T-Bone. So the other 11 defendants in the indictment either have pled guilty or signed plea agreements in this case and await sentencing. Another bounty hunter blood gang member and Baker's second in command in the drug trafficking conspiracy, Tony Carr, 52, aka T-Bone of Watts, pleaded guilty in July 2022 to 1 count of cocaine trafficking conspiracy and 1 count of being a felon in possession of a firearm. Judge Anela Rocha sentenced Carter 188 months in federal prison, and he's out. He was facing life. They give him 188 months in federal prison, and from there he gets sleepy Joe Biden to pardon him and let him all the way out. Fam West TV, salute. You already know what it is. It's going to be a domino effect once we find out the first person. The rest of them will be exposed. Oh, yeah, we always, the internet is undefeated, bro. You know what I'm saying? One thing about the internet, it's undefeated, bro. So people are constantly researching, constantly, bro. I get sent shit all day. You know what I'm saying? Nasty work, pure evil. Share the live 3 times. Appreciate that, Renegade Duchess. It's the only way that we're going to keep getting it popping. Y'all know I'm looking good. Hold on. Let me get my new jacket. I'm going to show y'all real quick. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you know what I'm saying? We don't count me out like I ain't, you know what I'm saying? Mr. Fly Guy, you know what I'm saying? They say Dusty M's, I say Dusty Robes on the road to get the dough. Nobody knows how to get it like me. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, the NBA official joint, you know what I'm saying? You know, that's how we doing. Oh, y'all can't hear me? Fam West said he can't hear me. Renegade Duchess, can you hear me? One in the chat if y'all can hear me, man. Because maybe something wrong with my boy Fam West. 2 guns. Pookaroo, can you hear me? Okay, I'm good. Okay. That's what I'm talking about. Let me see. Okay, so y'all can hear me. Let me make sure Maria might be. Hold on, I ain't talking about who looking to invest some money. Who's looking to invest some money, man? Securing a utility patent for your app is a crucial step, and it's completely understandable to look for strategies to manage the cost. The good news is that several programs and approaches are designed specifically to assist inventors and small businesses in your situation. The most direct solution is to explore pro bono legal assistance from programs backed by the USPTO. Yeah, who trying to invest into this app? When it's worth $1 billion, don't think you're gonna pay so much for just a share, a percentage of a share of this app. I'm always looking, champ. Hey, 2 guns, you got my number. DM me up. Let me know how much you're willing to invest, and I can tell you what I could do. We got to sign a non-disclosure agreement, though. You know what I'm saying? After we sign the non-disclosure agreement, I could tell you this. You see, I'm getting emails and shit right now about the app, man. First ever. This is a hostile takeover, corporate takeovers. You know what I'm saying? Oh yeah, 2 gun. We need to chop it up, bro. I mean, for real, bro. You know what I'm saying? You got my number still, right? Let me make sure you got my number. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so we already got through. We already got through the hour on IG. So IG shut down. Hey, Mike B, man. Oh yeah, hit me tomorrow. You still got my number? Yeah, just hit me tomorrow, bro. That's perfect. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm gonna know. I speak with the grant people in the morning. I got a grant coming, but that'll let me know exactly where we at. Then Monday morning, I meet with the developers, bro. So they're talking about 7 months it could be done. Let me see. Yeah, hit me. Raider Q, interesting investment opportunity. I like that. Yeah. See, one thing for sure, I got a dime, Deuce. Hey, it's on Jocko. DM me right now. Hey, it's Jock OG. DM me right now, and we gonna chop it up tomorrow too. You know what I'm saying? DM me right now so I can send you my cell number, and we gonna chop it up tomorrow too. Hey, listen, I ain't gotta have and eat by myself. You know what I'm saying? I bring my I'm gonna bring a main course meal. I'm gonna bring the turkey, you know what I'm saying, with the dressing. You know what I'm saying? The stuffed turkey with the dressing. You bring your side dish, he bring his side dish, and we gonna enjoy the meal together. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah, for sure, for sure. Hey, oh yeah. Bro, I want to use some of them beats already, so we already gonna talk about that. But bro, trust me. When you hear what's going on tomorrow, you ain't gonna want to release no new music until 7 months when that app is done, because then we're gonna release it ourselves and we're gonna control our own algorithm. You know what I'm saying? That's what this is about. I'm telling y'all, global takeover. I can't wait till I can tell y'all about what we doing to take back the hip-hop culture from the small hats. The powers that be in the industry, that we're finna make them irrelevant. All of that exploitation of our artists, our intellectual property, you know what I'm saying? Not want to give salt and pepper they masters after 25 years. TLC getting jerked. All of the artists that been getting jerked. We finna do something, y'all. Humongous, not big, humongous. But anybody else, DM me, only serious inquiries only, because we're at the point right now where we're finna start the development, and we can get security agreements and lawyers to sign them, and go get them notarized, and we could take care of this dirty ass industry and clean that shit up the right way. Salute to everybody, man. Damu Kiwe. Conversation.